Every horror fan has a list. The films that got under their skin and maybe even rewired their brain just a little bit. You can tell a lot about a person by what's on that list, but more importantly, what's not on the list. So here's my list: 10 films in no particular order. Now, I'm going to say this right off the bat: these aren't the 10 scariest films ever made. They're the 10 films that shaped how I see horror and honestly, how I see fear itself. I'm starting right here because this one hit me at exactly the right age. I was maybe just a little too young. I was only 10 years old. George A. Romero's Dawn of the Dead gets all of the attention. And look, I get it. The mall, the consumerism metaphor, it's brilliant. But Day of the Dead for me is the one that stuck with me and still sticks with me to this day. Because it's not about the zombies, it's about what happens to people when the walls close in.
Sit down, or so help me God, I'll have you shot.
You what?
The military guys losing their grip, the scientists crossing ethical lines, and everyone is becoming the thing that they're afraid of. The fear lesson here is simple: the monsters aren't the scariest thing in the room. We are. The zombie will eat you because it's hungry. A human being will destroy you because they're scared or angry or just because they can.
Steele, shoot that woman.
Bang! You're dead.
That's the horror, and that's what Romero understood. I don't need to tell you what Jaws is all about, but I do need to tell you what it did to me and a whole generation that saw this for the first time. Now, I'm going to preface this by saying that I grew up in the desert, so I wasn't around oceans or lakes. But Jaws made it to where I never wanted to go into the water ever. Heck, even when I was in the US Coast Guard and they had swim call, which is basically they would stop in the middle of the ocean, drop anchor, and let everyone jump off the sides of the ship into the water. Do you think I jumped in the water? No, no way in hell did I go in the water. I actually took watch up on the Shark Tower watch to help keep an eye out for anything that could be coming around the swimmers as they were enjoying themselves. What Jaws taught me was that it's not always what you see that is scarier, it's what you don't see. I mean, let's be real, let's be honest. When Jaws came out, we barely see Jaws for the first hour. All you see is a barrel and you see a fin. You see the reactions of people's faces, and your brain just fills in the rest. And I've said this before, but your brain is way better at scaring you than any practical effect. So here's the thing about Poltergeist: it's that it's rated PG. Now, let's just think about that for a second. A PG movie about a guy ripping his own face off. A PG movie where a tree is eating a kid. A PG movie where corpses are rising out of a swimming pool. It was a different time, man. It was a different time. What got me about Poltergeist wasn't the big scares. It was the idea that the safest place in the world, which is your home with your family and in your bedroom, could all turn against you. The TV, the thing that's supposed to entertain you, became a portal. The closet, where you're supposed to keep your clothes, became a gateway. And the freaking tree outside started eating you. The fear lesson here is that horror doesn't need a haunted castle. It just needs your house, your street, the kid's bedroom. Poltergeist understood that the most effective horror violates the places you feel the safest.
Get away! Get away! Get away! I can't see you, Mommy. Where are you?
Everything after it, such as The Conjuring, Paranormal Activity, and everything else, stands on the shoulders of Poltergeist. I saw this in theaters before anyone knew the truth, before the website debunked it, before the actors showed up on MTV. I walked into that theater not knowing if it was real or not. And when I left the theater, I still didn't know either way. That's uncertainty. That's a feeling that people can't recreate anymore in horror. The internet killed it. But just for a few weeks when it came out, the Blair Witch Project was considered real by a lot of people, and that was terrifying. But here's why it shaped me. The Blair Witch Project proved that you didn't need a massive budget. You didn't even need special effects.
Hurry up! I'm coming! My boots aren't laced. Oh my god, what the fuck is that? What the fuck is that?
You just needed an idea and the discipline to not show the monster. The stick figures, the pile of rocks, and the sound of children outside the tent. That's it. That was the whole movie, and it made over $248 million. The fear lesson here is that what you imply will always outrun what you show. Always. It's the single most important thing that I've learned in horror, and the Blair Witch Project is proof, which is also why the Blair Witch Project is my favorite all-time found footage film. So we're 5 films into this thing, and you've probably, if you've been paying attention, noticed a theme starting to develop. And no, it's not that Lou watched way too many rated R movies as a kid, although, yeah, that's true. Sorry, Mom. But the next 5 films shift into something completely different. It's still horror, but the fear changes. It gets closer and it gets more personal. So stick around. But before I show the last 5, if you like this video so far, then do me 2 favors. 1, hit that thumbs up. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button so you get all of your horror content, reviews, and recommendations and analysis from me. But here are the other 5. Saw gets a bad rap. People remember the traps and they remember the gore and the billions of sequels that have come out after it. But the first Saw isn't a torture film. It's a psychological thriller with a genuinely brilliant ending. And you know what? I'm going to die on that hill. What got me about the Saw franchise was the premise. 2 men wake up chained in a room. One of them has to kill the other one just to survive. But the twist was that neither of the 2 guys were innocent. Jigsaw never targets random people. He targets those people who have wasted their lives and have taken things for granted.
Before you is one of your trusted colleagues. She has been your publicist for years, knowing your lies, but choosing to speak no evil.
His traps aren't punishment. In his mind, they're rehabilitation. The fear lesson here is that the scariest villain is the one who thinks he's right. Jigsaw genuinely believes he's helping people, and that's way more disturbing than any monster who just wants to eat you. Give me a villain with a philosophy over a villain with claws every time. This is the one on the list that will probably raise an eyebrow or 2. Final Destination, Lou? Really? Yeah, really. Because no other horror movie has changed our lives on how we look at things on a daily basis. Every person watching this knows exactly what I'm talking about. You're driving on the freeway and you get behind that semi carrying something heavy, whether it's logs, pipes, construction equipment, and then there's that little voice in your head that says, change lanes, this is Final Destination in front of me. That's permanent. No other horror movie has branded a specific everyday fear into an entire generation the way this moment did. But the deeper thing about this film, The reason why it's on this list is the villain, or the lack of a villain. Because death isn't a guy in a mask. Death isn't even conscious. It's just a force.
Brian, I think you better go check that barbecue.
It's a design, something that's always going to happen, and you're just buying time. There's no escape, there's no negotiating anything. You can't reason with it. The fear lesson here is that the scariest antagonist is inevitability. You can run from Jason, you can even fight Freddy, but you can't fight the fact that eventually a log truck is gonna get you. Final Destination understood that. And that's why that stupid movie lives in all of our heads 25 years later. I don't even remember when the first time I saw this. The only thing I remember is I watched it, of course, on VHS at home, before surround sound, before high definition restoration. It was just a fuzzy, degraded image that somehow made it way more disturbing. Because it didn't look like a movie. It looked like something that I wasn't supposed to be watching.
The events of that day were to lead to the discovery of one of the most bizarre crimes in the annals of American history, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre is the hottest movie ever made. And I don't mean popular, I mean temperature. You can feel the humidity, the sweat, and the dirt. And just everything about this movie is just uncomfortable. And that's before anything even scary happens.
Hitchhiker?
Should we pick him up? Oh, yeah, man. Pick him up. He'll asphyxiate out there.
What does he look like?
Well, the son of a bitch is gonna smell just like the slaughterhouse.
And then Leatherface makes his appearance. Not as the villain, not even as a monster, just as a scared, confused person doing what his family tells him to do. That's the horror here, is that there's no intelligence behind it, no philosophy, and no speech why he does what he does. Just random acts of violence that's chaotic and meaningless. It's the scariest kind because there's nothing to understand. The fear lesson here is that not all horror means something. Sometimes a chainsaw is just a chainsaw. Sometimes the monster isn't a metaphor. It's just the monster. And that might be the most terrifying thought of all of it. If Jaws taught me that what you don't see is scarier, then Psycho wrote the textbook 30 years earlier. The shower scene. And everyone talks about the shower scene. But the scene that really got me, the one that stays with me, is the final shot. I mean, when I even think about it, I still get, the hairs on my arm stand up because it's creepy.
They're probably watching me. Well, let them. Let them see what kind of a person I am. I'm not even going to swat that fly.
You realize at that moment that he is gone. He's completely gone. There's no more Norman left. It's just Mother.
Why, she wouldn't even harm a fly.
Psycho is the film that made me understand that horror isn't about what jumps out at you. It's about what's already inside the person standing next to you. The person who seems completely normal. The quiet one. The helpful one. Norman Bates isn't scary because he's a monster. He's scary because before the killing start, he's just some guy running a hotel. Someone that you actually kind of feel sorry for. The fear lesson here is that the line between normal and monstrous is thinner than you think. That's Alfred Hitchcock's lasting legacy. It's not the scares. It's the suggestion that anyone could cross that line. All right. Now, I know some of you are going to be looking at my video and saying, that's not even scary. Well, I'm going to tell you, you're wrong. It's not just a horror movie, but it might be one of the most disturbing films on my list. Gaslight is about a man who systematically convinces his wife that she's going insane.
Now, Paula, I think you better go to your room.
Oh, we're not going to the theater?
Oh, my dear, I'm afraid you're far from well enough for the theater. Now, come.
He hides things and tells her that she's misplaced them. He makes noises in the attic and denies hearing them.
You never told me that before.
But I'm telling you now, I'm frightened of the house. I hear noises and footsteps. I imagine things that there are people over the house.
He isolates her from everyone, and he does so calmly, so reasonably, even loving.
If that's true, then you must be gentle with me. You must bear with me, please.
And that's the part that makes your skin crawl, is that he's gentle about it. Did you ever stop to think where that term gaslight came from? This movie literally created the term gaslighting.
Brain of yours and understand what makes you do these crazy, twisted things.
Gregory, are you trying to tell me I'm insane?
It's what I'm trying not to tell myself.
That's how effective it was. It named a form of psychological abuse that we're still talking about 80 years later. The fear lesson here is different from everything else on my list. But Gaslight is about the fear that comes from inside your own mind. The fear that maybe you just can't trust yourself, and that maybe the person that loves you the most is destroying you.
If I ever meant anything to you, and I believe I did, then help me, Paula. Give me another chance.
That's a horror that no monster can ever compete with. I'm ending this with the strangest entry on this list. And honestly, it might be the one that affected me the most. And you know who showed this movie to me? My mother.
Mother's marriage was unholy, a sacrilege, an abomination in the eyes of the Lord.
Flowers in the Attic is about 4 children that are locked away in an attic by their mother and grandmother. What do you think their crime was? The fact that they exist.
And you, the children, are the devil's spawn, evil from the moment of conception.
Their mother married into money, had kids, and then her husband passed away. So she goes back to her wealthy parents who never approved of the marriage in the first place. She hides the children away so that she can inherit the fortune. This is not a slasher film or a supernatural film. It's just a film about family, about the people who are supposed to protect you from becoming the people you need protection from.
Forgotten us already?
Mama?
Who are you children?
We're the children of the bride.
Nonsense. You know I don't have any children.
Like I said before, I don't even remember when I saw this film, but it planted an idea in me that has never left me even to this day. That sometimes a monster isn't hiding under your bed. Sometimes she's downstairs pretending everything is fine. The fear lesson here is that horror doesn't need a mask. It just needs betrayal.
Remove your blouse, daughter, and show them how punishment is given in this house.
The people closest to you have the most power to hurt you. And when they use it, that's not scary. That's tragic. And that's what Flowers in the Attic understood, and why 40 plus years later, it's still on my list. So that's my list. 10 films, 60 years of horror history. Some of them are masterpieces, and some of them, yeah, they might be a little bit flawed. But every single one of those have left an impressionable mark on me. A fear, an idea, a way of seeing the world. And here's what I've learned by putting all of this together. The horror that sticks with you isn't necessarily the best made film. It's the one that hits you at just the right moment at just the right age. The one that found that crack in your armor, and the one that had you asking all kinds of questions that you weren't ready to hear the answer for. Some of these films are on your list too, I'm sure of it. And there's some of them that probably aren't. But that's the point of this awesome genre. Your list says something about you. It reveals something that you're afraid of and what you're fascinated by. So what I want you to do is go into the comments and drop your 10 favorite films of all time that have impacted you in some way, shape, or form. So until next time, go check out my other videos. Make sure you hit that like button, but more importantly, hit that subscribe button so you get all your horror content, reviews, analysis, and recommendations from me. But more importantly, don't get too scared. Take care, guys.